Welcome to another episode of Breaking the Silence, where it's Arthur, Nick, and Nicole, where you can unleash your inner voice. We're in season 2, wide open. I am so excited for the guests that I have on my platform in this season. God is so good, so good. So this appearance with Mr. Jefferson was supposed to happen yesterday, but we had some technical difficulties. But you know what is supposed to happen is going to happen. Trust me. So let me tell you a little bit about Mr. Jefferson. So he's retired from the United States Army, Sergeant First Class. He's the author of 3 novels, Trap or Die, P-Town's Finest, and Trap or Die 2. He is the son of South Carolina's first Black female magistrate, Miss Verbenia Delee. Lord, I hope I said her name right. He is also the grandson of civil rights activist Victoria Delee. He's a cancer survivor, public speaker, educator, mentor, a member of the 100 Black Men of Savannah. He's from Ridgeville, South Carolina, now residing in Savannah, Georgia. His favorite quote is, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in the moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at the time of challenge and controversy." So, after this countdown, everyone please welcome this amazing example of greatness to the stage. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. So glad and blessed to be here.
Me as well. Thank you so much for making it happen. Like I said, everything that's meant to be will be, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Indeed. That's so true.
So let's get right into it. How does it feel to have family members who've made such an impact on history?
Oh man, it's so it's funny because growing up, I didn't really realize how big of a deal it was. And I kind of took a lot of things for granted. But now it seems like in this era where a lot of people are being made aware of certain issues and they're coming up with woke ideas. And I feel like, man, I already knew this. I knew what was going on. I knew what we had to, we as African Americans and we as Black Americans had to deal with. It's like, it's nothing new to me because I grew up hearing this stuff and having these values and stuff instilled in me. So it's just like, my only regret is that I wish I could go back and be like, hey, let me listen more in detail. Let me pay more attention to what y'all saying so I can be better equipped than I am now with it. But it's a wonderful feeling. It's an honor, and it feels like it's a duty for me to continue and carry on the traditions and some of the activist activities that they did.
Awesome. That is a great honor to be in the midst of greatness like that, people that have made history, especially in our culture.
Yeah,
I think that's amazing.
it is. It is.
And you're right. When you coming up as a child with them, and you don't know what it means then until you become an adult, and you're like, wow, they did some amazing things.
Yeah. You think about it, being the first anything by itself, it's just like you breaking that glass ceiling, you breaking that barrier. It's almost like I tell people all the time, I didn't realize the high school that I graduated from, my aunt and uncle were the first African Americans to ever attend that school due to what my grandmother did. And, you know, you just sit there and you be like, wow, like, let me soak this moment in, you know?
Generational wealth. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It has to start somewhere, you know?
You're right. You're right.
Awesome. I'm glad that she built that legacy for your family to carry for a lifetime. Some things you can carry forever and ever, and it never goes away. And that's one of those things.
That's true. That's so true.
So, when did your journey start as an author? How did that begin?
So, and I remember it just like it was yesterday. And I remember being overseas in the Army. I was in Germany, and I was talking to one of my supervisors. I don't even know what we was talking about, but I remember I was telling him what happened, and he said, "Have you ever thought about writing?" He said, "Because when you tell a story," he said, "you're so descriptive." He said, "When you talk," he said, "I can see everything that you're saying." He said, "You paint such a unconfusing picture." And I was like, wow. I mean, for him to say that, and at the time, I didn't think he too much cared for me anyway. So I was like, man, that's got to be a good thing. So I started thinking about just putting stuff down on paper, just writing, just scribbling. And I said, you know what? I think I can really come up with something deep, you know. And I know, like I said, you know, with my mom and my grandmother, they always said they wanted somebody to write the story. And I thought, well, maybe I might be the someone in the family. I don't know if that's still true to date, but because we got a lot of brilliant people, a lot of the younger generation in my family, they're doing some wonderful things. So it might be one of them to do it. So shout out to my little cousin, Sabrina Delee. She's doing some awesome stuff. So she might be the one to pick up the pen and really, you know, write the story. But that was it initially when I was in Germany. I think that was back in 95, 96. Golly.
Took you down memory lane.
Yeah, that was a long time ago when we just got the internet. We just had the internet back then.
Wow. Well, hey, I was in high school during that time. So, hey, I'm telling my age too.
Ooh, yeah. It's real. It's real.
Wow. That's awesome that your journey started in Germany. Like,
Yeah.
wow. And that was the first story, Trap or Die.
Well, no, it wasn't until I got back from Germany and I went to Georgia because I had the ideas. I know what I wanted to write about. But when I got to Georgia at Fort Gordon, man, it was some young soldiers. And just like a lot of us at that time, infatuated with the drug life, infatuated with New Jack City and, you know, all the crime bosses and all that. They actually tried to, under the cover of being in the Army, sell drugs. Yeah, and it was such a horrific time, and I was like, I love that lifestyle, seeing it on TV and watching it, and kind of in certain elements growing up around it. But I knew that's not the lifestyle. That, you know, you have to be such a tough person to be in that lifestyle, and that's an understatement. So I said, well, you know what? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write a story. I'm gonna loosely base it off of what I see. I'm gonna write a story about it, and hopefully it'll deter other soldiers from doing the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I started reading some of what you had on your website. I was like, okay, so I'm getting these books here. I already know this, so it seems like it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. And the first time, so listen, when I first finally got it printed up, got it published, and everything, I mailed it to a group of young ladies who were reading it and reviewing it. Man, they trashed it. They said this is garbage. They said this is so far-fetched. It's nothing like this could ever happen in the Army. And I'm like, where you gonna get the idea from?
Okay, how they know? Don't tell you what can't happen, and you was in the Army.
Yeah, it was one of the worst reviews, and I was like, wow. And they were like, yeah, they was like, it's just too far-fetched. It was like this kind of, and on the outside looking in, people don't really know what makes up the Army and the military. And I guess I said, well, they just speaking for what they know. So I didn't.
Somebody told them.
Yeah, I was like, little do you know, this is almost a true story.
Wow. So tell me a little bit more about the other books. Tell me about P-Town Finest. I know what the Trap or Die 2 is going to probably be the follow-up.
Yeah. So P-Town's Finest, in the midst of me writing, my wife was like, she's like, you know, you really have to get you an audience. She said, if you get you an audience, people are going to follow your books and they're entertaining, but you need an audience. She said, you need to write something kind of romantic that a lot of women will pick up and they'll like, and then they'll tell their boyfriends about it, and their boyfriends will want to buy the book for them. So I said, well, that's not really my forte, but what I did the area I'm from in Ridgeville, it was some dudes doing some stuff. They were older than me, and I kind of loosely based it off of what they were doing, but I used a love theme for the book. So this guy, he's out here, he's hustling, he's doing his things. He meets the girl that he really wants to change his life for. They fall in love, and then he has to decide, okay, what do I want to do next? Do I want to take a chance on making a life with this woman, having kids, doing something legit, or do I take a chance and take the next level in the drug game and maybe, being a boss or sitting at the table with the bosses? And I mean, not to brag, but when I was writing it, I was like, I can't wait to see what happened next.
Now, that's going to be a good book. You can't wait.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's real good. I got a lot of real great reviews about that. And all three of the books kind of blend in just a little bit. It's a little bit of bleeding in from, one story to another. So, they're all standalone, but it helps if you read them in order, 1, 2, and 3. So.
Right. But you know what? Normally it's not your first book that takes off. It's the next books that come out. Like I noticed with me doing my first book as a poetry book, it took off because it was my first book. But then when I put that mixed emotions out with the short stories in it with all that drama, man, that took off like wildfire.
Yeah.
But I mean, your wife was right. Like you have to appeal to everybody, but it's hard as an author to pinpoint who your audience is, because you're like, I want everybody to read my books, but then you got to kind of narrow it down, because that way you'll know who to sell to, if that makes sense.
And then it came to the point where, my core audience really doesn't read books. Mm-hmm. So I had to really kind of switch it up a little bit and try to, kind of promote it better. But yeah. So I totally get what you're saying. That's why I applaud you and everything you do, because writing is not easy. It's not for the faint, and it's not for people who are going to give up quick.
It's not for the weak.
Tough at all.
Because once you start writing that book, I mean, of course, it takes time to put it together, to format it, edit it, get your cover and everything that you got to put into that book.
Yeah.
But you got to have that thought in your mind first, and you have to plan out that situation of where everything is going to fall. So it can be very difficult. And then after you do that, then you got to go out here to these people and say, hey, you want to buy my book?
Yep.
So it only gets harder on the journey. I mean, people don't think that authors go through that type of thing, but it's rough.
Yeah, it really is. It is. It really is.
So what are some of your favorite books to read?
Oh, so, and again, I just love crime novels. I love, the underworld and stuff like that. But I was reading a series, The Cartel. And I think they're up to number 5 or 6, but it was so, it was about a young man he lived in Detroit, and he didn't know he had a whole entire family in Miami, and his father was this big underworld boss, and the father ended up passing away. And when the father passed away, the mother told him who his real father was. So he went to go visit his father. He's the oldest son. So a lot of people just kind of feel like he's the heir to the throne. And I mean, it get intense. And it's one of those series where it's good to follow it, but I just felt like after 5 or 6, I'm like, hey, what more can you do? Because I was like, you done took me around the whole world, with this, and I'm following, I'm being loyal, I'm reading it, but it was just like, man, that's one of my favorites. And then, and I don't know if I should really say this, that I hate to read a book, but there's a book out now that I'm reading on a regular, The 48 Laws of Power. Have you? It's a great read. It's a great book, but I never want to be like that. It tells you how to be the kind of person you need to be in order to obtain power and obtain positions. And it's not who I want to be. And I'm always mindful. You got to be mindful of what you read and what you, put into your brain, and what you eat, because you become that. And the book is wonderful. I mean, it sold so many copies. It's certain prisons that won't allow the inmates to have this book in their library because it's that undermining and that manipulative. I mean,
Wow.
it's a great read, but I wouldn't suggest it to people who really aren't
Easily
at a point in their
manipulated.
life where they can read it and separate it from that, because I can see somebody easily picking it up and using that in their day-to-day life, and that's just not a person I want to be,
And that's the 48 powers.
48 laws of power. Yeah.
Power.
Yeah. If you ever watch Power on Stars with 50 Cent, he referenced that book a lot.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I might have to pick it up and read it and see what
yeah,
that's about.
I take nothing away. It's a great read. And they use a lot of history events, a lot of history facts in it to show you the parallels of what people did in the past to become certain positions, and it makes a lot of sense. But it's just maybe some years ago I was on that path. I was that kind of person, but I don't want to be like that right now. Like you said, God makes a way for all of us. Everything that's supposed to happen happens. And a lot of times we just need to trust him and just, follow whatever path he have designed for us. Cause that's ultimately, that's the best place.
Exactly. You have to take the good with the bad and make it what you need it to be. And it's just that simple. That's why when it comes down to constructive feedback from people, I can take the good, I can take the bad, because that bad going to help me improve.
Exactly. It is. It definitely is.
Both. So tell me a little bit about the 100 men, Black Men of Savannah. I think
man. Listen, when I talk about an organization, I mean, it's a lot of organizations that you see on the outside looking in, and then once you become a part of it, you see it even better. The 100 Black Men of Savannah is actually a local chapter of a national organization, the 100 Black Men of America. And the headquarters is based in Atlanta, Georgia, but it's several locations. I mean, Chicago, Tampa, Charleston, all over the United States, overseas. And the only purpose is to act as mentors, not only for young boys, but also for young girls, and not just for African-American males or African-American females, but for any young person. And when we say young, we mean all the way from birth, all the way to collegiate, all the way to PhD, all the way till you feel you get to the point where now you're the actual mentor. You're passing down, and it's a great organization. It really is.
Wow. So what do if someone wants to join, how do they join? How do they go about joining it?
Go to the website, the 100 Black Men of America. Just go there, and it's a prompt on there that'll ask you where you live, and it'll show you like the closest chapters to you. It'll show you the president, vice president, deans of admission, everybody that you need to get in touch with.
So I have a son and I have a grandson. Now my son is 28. My grandson is about to be 1 this month. Now that seems like something I would want them to be involved in, because I think that it's important that young men have role models, especially the ones that are doing great things to guide them along the way. So as a 1-year-old, how does that work for a 1-year-old joining?
Well, I would tell you this. They try to wait until they don't accept them too young, but they do have them around the events just so they can start seeing positive, role models, people in places, and they'll invite them to certain picnics, certain conferences, just so they can be in that atmosphere. But as soon as they get in school, I'm talking pre-K, kindergarten, and elementary, they have school programs. So in Savannah, they actually come to the schools, and a certain period of the day, they actually have mentoring sessions with the young boys and young girls.
Wow.
And I tell people this all the time. It costs absolutely nothing. We have, last year, we gave away $30,000 worth of scholarships.
Wow.
And I think we gave that to 5 students.
So not only do you get to be a part of a powerful situation, you get the opportunity to get scholarships to go to school.
And not only that, some of our mentees, if you pay attention and watch the news, watch the Olympics, some of our mentees actually will be attending the Olympics and will be escorting the torch out when they lights for the ceremony. And again, they go to Paris, they learn how to speak French, they get a beautiful hotel room, they get the flight, have to pay for absolutely nothing.
Wow. That's a great opportunity in general. I mean, if we
Yeah,
start as parents, if we start early in exposing our children to these types of situations, there's no doubt about that they're going to be great because we're putting
exactly.
them in the midst of great people.
Yep,
So we
yep.
have to invest in our children. If you're saying all of this is free, it's nothing for your parents to put you into an environment that's going to help you win.
The only thing they have to pay is attention.
Wow.
That's it. That's it.
But you know, a lot of people probably just don't know about certain things, and that's the main purpose of my platform is to not only bring these people in the spotlight to shine a light on them, but to also get information to
Yep,
help us all get to certain levels in life. And a
exactly.
lot of times people don't know, you know.
And it's so many chapters. It's so many chapters just throughout the United States, and like I said, even overseas. I mean, it's wherever somebody is, it's one close to them. I tell you that.
Wow. So we're gonna shift and find out how you became this man that you are today. How did cancer change your life?
And that's a good one. That's a good one. And I'll be real honest and transparent. After my mother died, I was hurt because I'm the only child, and we were very, very close. I was hurt and I was upset and I was mad. I'm not even gonna lie, I was mad. And I wasn't a good person. I wasn't a good person. I was drinking a lot. I was conceited. I thought the world was about me. I thought the world revolved around me. It was just me, me, me. And a friend of mine, a real dear friend of mine, she got sick and she got cancer, and we were in the army together. And she told me, she said, I need you to go get checked out. She said, I've been walking around for a year and a half with cancer and didn't know it. And she said the doctors told her the only thing they can do for her is make her comfortable.
Wow.
And she said, if anything, I just want you to get checked out. And at the time, I just turned 40. I'm, thinking I'm getting older. Maybe I'm slowing up a little bit. Maybe I'm getting tired. But I did what she said, went and got checked out. And they said, dude, you have a guardian angel because we found cancer in your neck. Yeah. And I mean, it was, I didn't know I didn't have any symptoms or anything.
Wow.
So, she pretty much saved my life because if it had not been for her, you would have been interviewing somebody else right now.
Man, look at God.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, what really changed that is when you're doing the radiation treatment, I had to do radiation every day, Monday through Friday for 3 months. I had to do chemo every 21 days. And the thing about chemo is you sit in a chair and you get chemo treatment, and it takes about 7 hours. So during that 7 hours, you can sleep, you can read a book, you can listen to music, you can do whatever you want to do. I remember sitting in that chair getting chemo, thinking to myself, dude, if you were to die, what is it that you would really want to do, and how would you want to be remembered? And I said, you know what? Let all that hate go. And my wife, she played a huge part in it because she told me, she said, your mom don't even want you to hate like that. She don't want you to be that kind of person. It was that defining moment that I said, okay, I prayed. I said to God, Lord, I don't understand the path you have for me, but I'm going to trust you on it. And at that moment, I said, okay, let me figure out what I can do, how I can be an asset. And the biggest thing I could think of is these young people are just, they need guidance. They need help.
I'm telling you.
And that defining moment, that's when I said, you know what? It's not about me. It's not about me. It'll never be about me again. It's about what I can do for the next generation, for the current generation, and for anybody to come. And that's since then, that's when I joined the 100 Black Men of Savannah. That's when I started doing mentoring. That's when I started doing community activities. That's when I was like, you know what? God gave me a second lease on life. I'm gonna make the most of it. And it's not even my life. It's not even my life to be like that. So why not be an asset to everybody around me and to my community? And that was the goal since then. And ever since then, I've been on goal.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you know what? God has a way of sitting you down and bringing you back up. And when you come back up, guess what happened? You're living in your purpose.
Yep. You're giving me chill bumps right now, just saying that.
I'm telling you, and them 7 hours you were sitting there, God sat you down.
Yep.
And allowed you to think about your life as a whole and come out brand new.
And it's quiet. You don't have no distractions. You don't have nobody bugging you. It's just all you got is your thoughts. And like I say, if you want to play music or if you want to watch, but I was sitting there and it just came to me. And I could see my mama saying, boy, if you don't stop acting like that.
You had a little talk with Jesus and she said, you got to get my boy right.
Yep.
Get him right. Sit him down. That's amazing. That's an amazing story that, you sat in them 7 hours and you contemplated and, had your come to Jesus moment.
Yep.
And then, boom.
I tell people all the time, I know that defining moment. I never forget it. You know how they say when you, the two most important days of your life, when you were born and when you find out what you was born for, I know my.
Whoa. I know mine. And you know it when it happens, because to be honest, this podcast is my purpose.
Yep.
And I knew it. It was like I walked into it and I was like, yes, this is it. This is it. So I know what you're talking about. That moment, your purpose. Ain't nobody can take that away from you, and you will always remember it. Like, wow. So I have an interesting question for you.
All right.
Would you rather be rich or famous?
Oh.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, because I mean, you can do a lot with money. You can help a lot of people out. I think I'd rather be famous. Yeah, I think I'd rather be famous only because, again, it's not about me. But if I was well known, the message could get across to more people.
Yep.
More people could learn from my mistakes and my lessons, and I think knowing it, like the old G.I. Joe saying, knowing is half the battle. I think if more people, if I just had more, if I was more notoriety, yeah, I would rather have that than to be rich.
I agree. And it's crazy because, as you become, get into your adult days, as a young person in me would have said, I want the money.
Yeah.
I want the money. What you mean?
I don't even like people. I want money. Yeah.
But the seasoned person, as I like to say, I don't call people old, seasoned person that I am says, I want to be known for who I am. I want a legacy that people can talk about forever. I want to be a household name. So I want that. I want to leave my grandson and my grandchildren and my children something they can talk about for years and years to come.
Yeah.
So I want to be famous.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So my most important question, well, this is not the final question. I have two more questions for you. But this question is dealing with the generation that we're in, the young generation. What advice would you give to young men of this generation? Because, these young men are lost.
Yeah.
They're lost.
I would listen to the right people, because I think they wonderful at listening. They wonderful at soaking up information. They wonderful at acquiring knowledge, but I just think they're getting it from the wrong people right now. And I would just tell them, be advised that a lot of people you listen to now, a lot of people you tune into now, they don't mean you any good. They don't mean you any good. I mean, and I can't even say it any more passionate than that, because I speak with some young guys, and some of the stuff they tell me, and I'm like, who raised you? Like, where did you get that from? And they quick to quote a rapper or a movie star or somebody that they follow on Twitter or they follow on Instagram. And I'm like, that person probably is not living like that.
Not a
That's
chance.
not, they probably just doing that because they need followers and they trying to get money, and they sold, or they selling out their core beliefs because this is what people are buying right now. This is what advertisers are paying money for. But I would definitely tell them, listen to some of the older men who's been here a while, who survived things, who've seen things, who's still standing, who still listen to those guys. And I heard a quote last night. One of the guys said last night, he told a young boy, I've been your age. You ain't never been my age. And I said, oh, I'm taking that.
Okay.
I'm taking that.
I'm taking that from you. That's a good one.
Yeah. He said that, Mr. Brian Darcy. He said that. He said, I've been your age, but you ain't never been my age. And I was like, oh.
Teachers used to say that somewhat on them levels. They were like, I got mine. You got to get yours. You ever heard that?
Yep. Oh yeah.
I used to get mad about it. What you talking about? I got mine, but they're right.
Yeah.
They had the diploma. You need yours.
Yep. And that's why I said I'd rather be famous than to be rich, because I would love to be able to just tell that to every young man or woman that's living and breathing right now.
Wow. But it is important as young people to listen. Everybody was hard-headed, though. Everybody had a moment in their life where they were hard-headed. They wouldn't listen to nobody, thought they knew everything, couldn't wait till they got 18 and get out this house.
Yep.
But you're going to revert back to everything that your mama, your daddy, and all the elderly people that tried to put you on the right path. You're going to be like, you know what? I should have listened to Deacon Watson. I should have listened to Deacon Troy. Whatever the case may be, or I should have listened to what my mama said, and I wouldn't be in the position I'm in today.
That's so true. That's so true.
Everybody goes through those stages where they're hard-headed. They don't listen. But that's the most important thing about growing up. Listening.
Listen. What they say, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen more and talk less.
Right.
Listen more, talk less.
So my last question for you is, what is next for you?
Oh man. So earlier this year, I said, I took some classes, I did some researches. I'm still trying to get some certification, but I'm officially now a public speaker. I'm taking the show on the road now. I tell people, wherever you need me to be, I'll be there. Of course, I wish I could do everything free. I wish I didn't have to charge for that, but I do have to drive. I do have to fly. I do have to get to those areas. But my goal now is, I really want to go in places and spaces that need my voice. And again, like I said, it's not about me. I'm just a vessel. But 22 years in the military, being on dang near every continent on this earth, being almost to every state in the United States, I feel like I have something to share. I feel like I can tell some people how to avoid certain pitfalls and obstacles. And that's what I'm pouring into now. I'm a public speaker, any capacity that's needed, graduations, birthday parties, hosting different events and stuff. But whatever I can find myself, whatever, there's an audience that may need me to come and be there, no place is off limits. All I need is some time. Like I tell people, I'm going to try to do everything I can do, but don't call me Thursday night and say you need something Friday morning.
Okay.
I'm going to try to do it, but I don't know how successful I'm going to be at it. But yeah, that's my next venture. I'm really, looking forward to this. I've had a gig earlier this year. I hosted a Black History Gala in South Carolina. Yolanda Bryant, she was good enough to, blessed enough to see something in me to allow me to do that. And it was wonderful. I got a lot of great reviews from that. But that's my thing now. I'm a certified public speaker. So
awesome. I didn't know you had to get certified to do that. I thought you just went out there and just, did your thing.
Well, I mean, you really don't, but if you attend a certain amount of Toastmasters and stuff like that, people always like to know that, you serious about what you do. They like, and I'm real transparent. I'll post my resume, I'll post my accomplishments, because I want people to know that, look, when you book me or when you get me to do event, I'm not going to break the bank. I'm not going to charge you an arm and a leg, but I want you to know this is what comes with it. It's not just somebody that's running off at the mouth. It's somebody that has a message, that has a purpose, and actually taking some time to work on his craft, work on the delivery, work on how I speak, and I think that's just the biggest part. But yeah, you can get certified in anything now. So,
I see.
If you, they got certifications for everything.
So how can people get in touch with you? See, I wish you would have told me that, and we would have been on this. How can people get in touch with you to book you to be a speaker?
So my website, entireseverything.com. They can go there. They can check out a lot of stuff that I'm doing, some other ventures I'm going. And there's a email slot where they can email me. It goes directly to my personal email. I get it and I check it. It's on my phone. I get a little notification. If they, even if they're not interested in booking me, they can still, hit me up with a comment, with a calls. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, Mr. Brad J23 on Instagram. And on Facebook, it's just Charlton Bradford Jefferson. But I'm very accessible. I don't try to hide my pages. I don't try to, block anybody, because I feel like, just like you said, everything is a lesson. Everybody that you're meant to meet, you meet. Every connection is meant to happen. But definitely go to the website. Matter of fact, can I post my number, or can I say my number? I don't.
You can.
I don't mind.
I mean, if you send it to me, I'm gonna post it anyway. I'll post it after.
I will. Like I tell people, I had the same number for almost 18 years now, 706-836-8062. People can call me, text me. I'm very accessible. I'm not one of those people that, I gotta hide this or I gotta hide it. No, I mean, like you say, we all gotta pass. People, I'm my hardest critic, so it's nothing you can ever bring up and throw in my face that I haven't already beat myself up for already.
Amen. So, amen to that. I'm my biggest critic too. So it's nothing. Trust me, I done beat myself 10 times over the same thing you're still talking about.
Exactly. What they say, what's T to you is a triumph to me. So,
okay.
So,
well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, for allowing me. It's so many people you can interview. It's so many people that's doing great things and doing wondrous things. And for you to take this time out, not only after, it was my fault for messing up yesterday, but not only for you saying, okay, well, we're going to try it again today. I thank you for that. I cannot thank you enough. And hopefully I can, we can meet face to face and exchange some stuff and keep going. Cause this is just the beginning. I tell people, we don't meet on accident.
There you go.
And our guy, Cap, he
yes,
man, that's my guy, Sloop Cap,
Yes, he's been putting so many amazing people on this platform, people that I didn't know anything about, and I'm so glad that I'm connected with each one of you.
Yeah, he is a blessing. He is a blessing. Whatever I tell him, he's one of those people, and you one of those people too. You will never have to ask me twice for nothing. Never. I got you. Whatever I can do.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure you send all that information to me, because I'm going to definitely highlight that.
I will definitely do that,
so I can get you some people there to support you on this journey as a public speaker.
Yes, and the same here. I'm doing the same thing. I'm screaming you to the top of my lungs and sharing everything. And once I figure out all this technology stuff, I wish my daughter was still here because she could help me out with it. But
wow, technology is no joke, but that's the way the world is now.
It is, and you can't just ignore it and say, "Oh, I don't want to do it. I'm too old." No, you got to get with it.
You have a choice. Get the program.
Exactly. But thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing. You are a blessing, and we're gonna make it do what it do. Definitely.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thank you everyone else out there for tuning in to another epic episode of Breaking the Silence. We have to help each other go to the top, guys. We have to support each other on the journey, especially in our culture. We have to stop being crabs in a barrel, and we have to try to come out that barrel and try to go to the top together. It's no other way for it to be. And it's just that simple. So if you are aspiring to be something in this lifetime, whether it's an author, an artist, or whatever you're trying to be in this life, you have to first take that step. And if you don't take that step, nothing's going to happen. It's just not going to fall out of the sky. And plus, you got to put in some work too. You really got to put in that work and that dedication. So I encourage everyone to start and start building your legacy for your children. Start building your legacy for your grandkids. Start generational wealth. So we all in our family and everyone that's connected to us can go to the top. We got to start thinking outside the box, and we got to start doing the things that we need to do in this lifetime so we can be better than we was yesterday. Everybody makes mistakes, but everybody can recover.
Right.
And it's just that simple. One day at a time, it's going to work out. Trust me. So tonight, before tonight, I have open mic it's going to start off at 5:00, just with me running some music of some of the artists that have been on Breaking the Silence. So I'm going to put them in the spotlight a little bit to get more awareness to them. And so at 5:45, we're going to launch off the open mic with some amazing guests. I have 4 featured guests tonight. Amazing lineup. 2 spoken word artists, gospel vocalist, as she's going to be releasing her actual first single on the Breaking the Silence open mic. I am truly honored about that. Oh my God. So for the first time ever, her single is going to be played on the Breaking the Silence open mic. Man, I'm making so many milestones that I never saw coming. Trust me. So after open mic, I have Successful Toy. If you know her, you know her. She's going to be on the stage at 7 p.m. She's a podcaster, author. She's an entrepreneur. She's making moves, y'all. So tune in at 7 p.m. to find out about this amazing woman. Please. So this lineup for open mic is Tamarian. He's a singer-songwriter from North Carolina. Duke the Poet is a spoken word artist from Georgia. Jeremy Watson is from St. Louis. He's a spoken word artist. And Miss Megan Lynette that's releasing her first single. She's a singer-songwriter. She's a nurse practitioner from Texas. So tomorrow on Mother's Day, I opted against whether or not I should have debate night, but I think I'm going to go ahead and still have it at 8:30. The topic of the night is going to be, does chivalry still exist? Are men still being those men that they need to be out here in this world? I don't know, but we're going to find out. So remember, dancing is like nobody is watching. Dance like nobody's watching. Love like you will never be hurt again. Sing like there is nobody listening. And live like it's heaven on earth. And tune in for the next time to break the silence together. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Not many places will accept you. You're always rejected, rarely protected. You will never return like new. Over time you will break down from different temperatures, winds, and storms. Never returning to the same form. You're transparent, yet you're still resilient. Even in your vulnerable state, you are easy to terminate. When shattered, you are a mess, but you pass every test. Eventually you will need to be replaced, but your presence can never be erased. You may be weak, but you will still be unique.